Every time you see a leaderboard claiming one model scores 82 on MMLU and another scores 79, there's a quiet assumption baked in that both models were measured the same way. For years, they weren't. Different prompts, different example counts, different scoring rules, so the numbers simply weren't comparable, and a 5-point gap might mean nothing at all. Today, we're looking at the tool from EleutherAI that fixed this, the one behind a huge share of the eval numbers you read every day. This is the framework that quietly makes benchmarking honest. So let's break down the LM evaluation harness. To understand what the harness gives you, follow a single evaluation run through it, from the model on one end to a comparable number on the other. It starts with your model. You point the harness at almost anything. A local checkpoint sitting on your own machine, a model hosted on Hugging Face, or a commercial system behind an API. The framework doesn't care where the model lives, as long as it can send a prompt and read back an answer. That flexibility means you never have to rebuild your evaluation setup just because the model changed. Then you pick your tasks. The harness ships with hundreds of them: MMLU, HeliSwag, GSM8K, TruthfulQ, Arc, and many more. You just name the ones you want to run, and it pulls in the data and the setup for each. Here's the important part. Every task carries a fixed version recipe, the exact prompt template, the number of example questions in the prompt, and how the answer is scored. Often it compares the model's likelihood across the answer choices, so it works even without free-form generation. Finally, it runs every task uniformly and reports the metrics. Because the recipe was identical, your number and someone else's number actually mean the same thing, which is the whole point. You end up with one apples-to-apples score you can confidently place right next to anyone else's result. So why did this matter so much? Picture the world before a shared harness existed, next to the world after. Before, everyone evaluated differently. One lab used 5 example questions, another used none. One extracted the answer one way, another parsed it differently. 2 teams could report totally different scores for the same model, and you had no way to tell which comparison was fair. The harness replaces that with one standardized recipe per benchmark. Same prompt, same example count, same scoring for everybody. Now a cross-model comparison is trustworthy because the only thing that changed between 2 runs is the model itself. A leaderboard finally measures capability, instead of measuring who tuned their prompt the hardest. Now, let's distill this framework down to the qualities that make it the default and worth remembering. The breadth is enormous. Hundreds of benchmarks, each with a fixed and version recipe. So a task run today matches the same task run last year. That reproducibility is the foundation everything else rests on. It runs any model uniformly. Local weights, Hugging Face, or an API all go through the same path. So the framework itself never becomes the reason 2 numbers differ. You drop a brand new model into an existing suite, and it slots straight in with 0 extra plumbing. And this standardization is exactly why it powers the Hugging Face Open LLM leaderboard. When new tasks get added, everyone can then run them identically, which keeps the whole field speaking one measurement language. All right, let's lock in the essentials. The LM evaluation harness from EleutherAI is the de facto framework for benchmarking language models in a standardized, reproducible way. It offers hundreds of tasks, each with a fixed recipe covering the exact prompt, the example count, and how the answer is scored. Because every model runs through the same recipe, cross-model comparisons become trustworthy, which is why it powers the Open LLM leaderboard. Next time you read an eval number, remember something ran it, and often it was this. 4 clear, jargon-free AI explainers. Standarity.com is where we keep them all. We would love to see you there.